The Johannesburg Netball Association is an NPO responsible for the promotion and development of the sport across 7 regions within the city of Johannesburg. JNA plays a pivotal role in strengthening netball as one of the fastest growing sports in the city, catering to both female and male athletes. This year, the JNA will proudly host the Male Netball Championships set to take place from the 25th to the 30th of this month. Now, to tell us more, we're joined by netball player Olwethu Twalo. Olwethu, a very good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Putkwena, and your viewers. Thank you for having me.
Olwethu, let's start maybe by just telling us a little bit about the JNA. What's the big idea behind the JNA?
Okay, so JNA is the Netball Association that administers netball in the city of Johannesburg. It was previously known as Gauteng Central up until 2011 when Netball South Africa decided to introduce districts instead of focusing on provinces. So that was when JNA was then established as an association. So it administers netball in the city of Johannesburg across 7 regions with 1,047 members, affiliated players.
Right, and then one of the big projects for 2024 is the Male Championships that are taking place from the 25th. Tell us about that and who exactly will be playing in those championships.
So it's the districts from all over. It's the districts from all over the country. It's actually the National Male Championships that are ran under Netball South Africa. So this year, JNA has had the opportunity to be the hosting association. So we'll be hosting male players from across the country, both senior males and under 23s.
And you are one of the players that will be playing. Tell us who you're playing for, and I mean, how long have you been playing netball?
Okay, I'm playing for JNA. I started playing for JNA in 2021. That's when I was selected to play at national level. But I started playing netball in grade 3, but it was an informal setup because at that time, at the school that I went to, boy learners were not allowed to play netball. Up until then, I moved to Johannesburg, and then I started playing. I then played at Wits University where I studied, and then my coach motivated me, or rather he motivated me, to play to come and trial for JNA. That's when then I started playing for JNA in 2021 when we had the national male champs in Sun City.
You will also be playing this weekend. Just tell us about the preparations and what it takes to play in such a tournament.
So we started as JNA. We started practicing at the beginning of the year. That's when the trial process also started. The coaches have been committed, and the management, to make sure that we perform at our best. Because JNA is also known to be one of the best teams in the country. We've previously won gold in some of the championships in Sun City, and then we came second in Uppington in 2022. And unfortunately, last year we placed 5th. So this year we are trying to retain gold in Johannesburg, as we are also known for, as the City of Gold. All our players have been committed in making sure that we reach our end goal. And we also want to inspire other young boys and other young men to come and join the sport, because there's also been the introduction of the USAs that were also hosted in the city of Johannesburg, and they were hosted by UJ in July. So that has also been those were part of the preparations that we've been doing, and just making sure that we keep the sport alive. And we've been training hard week in, week out, making sure that we are fit and making sure that we meet the end goal that we all desire, to represent the City of Gold well.
Okay, just finally, Olwethu, I know there's a fundraising aspect from this. Just tell us briefly about that as we conclude this conversation.
Okay, so netball in South Africa generally, when it comes to funding, it's one of the sporting codes that do not have enough financial injection. So unfortunately for males, it's even worse. So which is why every year we have to fundraise for accommodation, we have to fundraise for just participation, we have to fundraise for transport and everything and all the costs that comes with participating at national male championships. So fundraising, each player is required to fundraise money so that they can be able to participate and play at national champs.
And briefly, very briefly, Olwethu, how do people assist in that regard?
They can get in touch with the JNA office if they want to donate to JNA as a whole. We have our Instagram page, which is Joburg Netball, and our Facebook page, which is Johannesburg Netball Association. The details are there for anyone who wants to contact us, or they can also reach me on my personal number, which is 076-702-9063, and then I'll direct them to the right people to speak to if they want to do an overall sponsorship for all 4 teams, because we'll be taking 4 teams. It's the under 23B, the under 23A, okay, the senior A team, and the senior B team.
All right, Olwethu, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming through to speak to us. Olwethu Twalo, who is a netball player, talking to us about the Johannesburg, or rather the male championships that are taking place this coming weekend, hosted by the Johannesburg Netball Association.